Hello, beautiful creatives. Welcome to Beginner's Mind, Art Mind. I'm Linda Marcel, and I have one of your favorite kind of art videos for you today. You guys always tell me that the sketchbook flip-throughs are your favorite, and I have been blowing through sketchbooks this year, which was one of my goals, was to use up art supplies that I have kicking around that were unloved for too long, and to use up sketchbooks that I had filled halfway. So I have 4 for you today. Yeah, I have to look. I have to count. I have 4 sketchbooks for you today. And because I have 4, I mean, some of them are thinner. Like this one I think only has 12 pages in it. But I don't think what I normally do is I do one where I talk through the pages, and then I do one after that is just to music. I think because there's 4, I may not have time to do that. So what I'll do is just try to be mindful as I'm chatting, as we're going through, to not chat too much, to make it brief and flip through a little quicker. So I hope you really enjoyed the video. And if you do, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and let's get flipping. Okay, so I think I will start with the one with the least amount of pages first. This was actually the one that I just finished last night, so I'm not actually going in chronological order, but this was started in January and I just finished it last night. This was a watercolor. Not sure which watercolor set I used for that. I've painted a lot of woods this year. This was one of the sets of pastels that I was sent to review. This actually was on a different page of one of my sketchbooks, and I liked it so much that I tore out the page and put it into this book. I like these wire-bound books better for pastel work because you don't have to worry about, it's dog hair, you don't have to worry about it smudging. So this was another pastel demo that I did of some trees with oil pastels. And this is what I've been doing a lot of lately, and I've been talking about it a little bit on Patreon and showing these on Instagram. These are my intuitive messenger paintings, and the way that I go about doing these to stay out of my head is really interesting. So I'm actually working on a video on this for my patrons to show a little bit, talk a little bit about the process, and then at some point I'll do a demo. But this is such a fascinating process because your head stays completely out of the game and you just go with shapes that show up and then develop it into an image. And if I talk this much about every page, this is not going to be a short video. So this one I went back to a couple of times. I kept seeing more shapes in it as I went. This was another one of those intuitive messenger paintings. I just love these. Love doing these. This is another one. I'm just really enjoying working this way. It's just so enriching to work this way. And this was another one that I did. I love her. And then this was one that I did last night in my art nest, and it wasn't as successful. And what I found is you can't be as gestural. You can't sort of get those really free marks when you're working in your lap. But okay, so that is sketchbook number 1. I'll do this other little Paul Rubens sketchbook. So I don't know if I said what this other sketchbook was. This is the Canson watercolor, Montval. And I did make a note in here. I have Canson mixed medium pads that I absolutely love. I hated this paper for wet media. I actually, to remind myself, I made a note on the cover that said, to remind me, I hated this paper. It dissolved with water and scrubbing. It dissolved really easily. I was so surprised because, like I said, I do have Canson mixed media pads that I really like. This, on the other hand, is the Paul Rubens. They sent me this in a gift package they sent me at Christmas. This is from January 24 to 424. So again, I just finished this one. This paper took tons of abuse. This is the one that I took outside and painted in a waterfall and in the rain, and it took so much abuse. It was amazing. This book was soaking wet, so wet that I thought the whole binding was going to fall apart, and it didn't. So very impressed with the Paul Rubens paper. Just more experimenting. I love this sort of abstract landscape. This was probably a mixture of gouache and watercolor. Same with this. Looks like some gouache in there. Love these two. This was an Yvonne Hitchens master study. This is actually a demo on my YouTube channel of a David Hockney painting from his Yorkshire Sketchbook. And this is another demo that I just put up recently of a David Hockney study. I love his watercolors. This was a plein air painting I did sitting in my car. Dawn and I took a ride one day, and I just sat in the car and painted our favorite wetlands. Just an imaginary landscape, playing with some watercolors. This was Daniel Smith watercolors. Some more sort of abstracted landscapes. Love these, love this. I love how the road brings you into this cove of purple trees. The mark making inspired by David Hockney. More abstract landscape. Abstracted, trying to get really loose with my daffodils. More loose daffodils. This was inspired by a Nell Blaine. I think it was a Nell Blaine painting. I really like this one a lot. This was a plein air that I did a video on of the raspberry canes just as the buds were starting to come out. It's playing with watercolor, more just watercolor play. Same here. Watercolor to me is the best medium for people struggling with chronic pain and chronic fatigue because it is so easy to get out and so easy to clean up. You don't have a bunch of brushes to wash. You can just use water brushes and have almost zero cleanup. Just some more landscapes. Love this. I love how simple this came out. Oh, and that's it. That's it for that one. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. These are a little bit longer. Okay, so this one I'll take since this is a watercolor. This last one's going to be a lot of mixed media and a lot more pages. So this one was from January 22nd. Oh, January 22. Yeah, no, January 22 to 4/24. So this one took longer to fill. And it's interesting because you will see how my style is evolving back to a style that I did. So this was 1/7/22. It's from the beginning of this towards the end, you'll see that I'm actually evolving back to a style that I used to paint over 40 years ago, a more expressive, intuitive style of painting. I actually really like this painting. I think this is acrylic gouache, maybe. This was Japanese watercolor, I believe. Oh, this was part of Debbie Miller's Mugshot Monday, I think it was. I think she still does a version of that on Instagram. I'll try to remember to tag her below. This is from that Mugshot Monday too. She has pictures that she posts every Monday and you can paint from. This was another one of those. In this book, for some reason, I went back and forth between skipping a page in between and not skipping a page in between. This was another plein air that I did of a different wetlands near our house. Oh, upside down crocuses. So this was 4/10/23. I remember this was a demo that I did on YouTube, I believe. And these were 2 little plein air paintings that I did last year. Another, this was last year, some daffodils. Same with this. This looks like it might have been acrylic gouache. More daffodils and dandelions. Every spring I try to paint some loose daffodils and dandelions. I actually really like this one. This was just recently, and it looks like I didn't date it. This was plein air. This was sitting out in the front yard just as winter was starting to lose its grip, and then we got a massive snowstorm after that. So I painted snow after that. But interestingly, I didn't date these, but I know these were this late winter, early spring. And this one is a YouTube video. This was doing a plein air painting with only using ink tints pencils, colored pencils. And that was fun. That's, I'll try to remember to put a link to that video up because that was a lot of fun doing that. More watercolor play. Just been really getting into watercolor, especially granulating watercolor lately. This was, oh, this looks like it was Japanese watercolor because it got shiny. This was on 4/7. This was on 4/8. I really like this. I really like how that came out. Just, I love the simplicity of watercolor. I'm just feeling really drawn to it again. I go back and forth between loving acrylic and watercolor. This I talked about in a video, I think on Patreon. I was testing out some of the Schminke Hordem Super Granulation, their Shire set. And this was more using that set, I believe. And this was probably inspired by a David Hockney again, and then I just sort of went my own way with it. He didn't have the puddles in it, but I love the idea of these puddles being there in early spring. Another watercolor, really like this one. This was inspired by a David Hockney. Changed it quite a bit, but that's where the original inspiration came from. And this was an abstract watercolor. Actually, it's a mixed media. Just doing some abstractions and then finding shapes. And what I did use on this one was Lightwish sent me these super golden markers. And they are really cool. They're metal, and there's 12 colors. I'm going to have to demo these at some point for you guys. But they are in metal barrels, and they have a super fine point, and the colors are so brilliant. It's amazing. I love these markers. I will put information for those down below, and I'm going to do another video where I swatch these out and show them to you a little better. But this is I used the gold in this and the green, and I don't know if it'll show up in here. Sometimes it's really hard to get metallics to show up, and I can't really see my screen too well right now, but these are gorgeous markers. So I will get back to these at some point soon in a video and show you more of those. And I really enjoyed using them on this piece. I used some watercolor, some Neocolor, and those super golden markers. And then just some swatching on this. This is the last page, the pocket page, and just did some watercolor swatching. This is the Tumuarta, Tumuarta sketchbook. And I really liked this. It was a inexpensive sketchbook, and it was good quality. It was good quality paper. Much better quality than that Canson one I got. That Canson watercolor paper in that particular pad was awful. So this one is a Art Creations Royal Talons sketchbook. I believe this is their smallest size. And this one went from 223 to 424. These are a little thicker, and they usually take longer to fill up. So, and this has all kinds of stuff in it. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. And try to stay in this viewfinder here. Just some pencil drawings. I love this cow. Some sort of foreshortening going on there. These sheep were mixed media, really fun. Playing with this looks like ink tents pencils probably on this one. Some more. Oh, I think this was when I was still doing some Emma Carlisle work. This was that set of soft pastels. I forget what they're called. Oh, this was just a drawing of some people on the street. I did it from a photograph. More mixed media, graphite and mixed media. Just some loose play, which I love these Royal Talons books. Oh, I know what this was. This was those gel sticks, those King Art gel sticks, which are really fun to work loosely with. I really like this a lot. Actually, I like this one a lot too. This was Inktense. This was just graphite. Just some faces. More play. This was some ink, those Pentel ink brush, art brush, I think they call them, with inks in them. That's what this was too, testing those out. Same with that. This was a mixed media combination of things. It looks like maybe some soft pastel. More combination of those really bright fluorescent inks and soft pastel. Loose daffodils. Every year I try to get some loose daffodils. This was just, I think this was just testing some things out and then mushing the page together. That sort of play. I actually kind of like it. Some more flowers, some sunflowers, painted, feels like acrylic or acrylic gouache. This was a plein air watercolor. Don and I went down to the Connecticut River and last summer and did some river paintings. And this was, this wasn't plein air, but it was also based off some photos I had taken of the Connecticut River. This is a, oh, this was part of a class I took from Misty Mon. It was blind contour self-portraits with those multicolored pencils. Those are so fun, so fun. And blind contours are so great. Little abstract studies. Just playing with more abstracts. I actually really like that. Oh, this was the liquid charcoal that someone gifted me. I think it was Beatrice, but I'm not sure. But yeah, somebody gifted me that, and that has been fun to play with. I think that's a Schminke item too. It's over on my other table. And this was the Graphy Tint pans. Playing around with those. Watercolor play. This was a master study. David, can't think of his name. I think his name's David. I'm surprised I didn't write it down. But I really like both of these. More, I guess these were probably Neo colors. That's probably why I have paper in here. Those Neo colors. Crayons. All mixed media stuff. This was acrylic. Little acrylic studies. More mixed media. More mixed media. I love this one. I love how funky that came out. I like these too. I feel like these are kind of mysterious. I don't know. Something about the dark color palette that was used with them feels kind of mysterious and different to me. This was another acrylic. Daffodils again. I love this window, how this window came out. I used a palette knife edge to get some of these lines. Is there a page here? More daffodils. Kind of like this one over here. Hope I'm still in the screen. Just some sketches. This was probably my fountain pen, playing around with that. So this was some more playing around with, oh, this might have been the Mungio water-soluble oil pastels. I think that might be what these two were. And I've had a lot of fun with those. I've really enjoyed those. This was acrylic, an acrylic. Fun little studies. This was inspired by Lisa Daria, or Lisa Daria Kennedy. You can find her by both names on social media. I love her work. I really do love her florals. She's part of the Daily Painter community. I think she might actually be the founder of it. And this is more acrylic. These are the ones that I'm saying are acrylic are all my Liquitex Basics acrylics. So these are all paintings that were done with that art haul that I did not that long ago of Liquitex Basics. Loving those paints, still really enjoying those paints. This was watercolor, mixed media. This was inspired by Shirley Trevina. Yeah, I think it's Trevina's work. Just some figurative play. I think this might have been Art Nest work. I think a lot of this was done in my Art Nest, playing around. I love this color palette on these. More play. This was sort of intuitive, just sort of allowing shapes and things to show up. This was I can always tell this is the Kuretake because it's shiny. Just showing up on a really bad health day. I think that might be the Kuretake too because it's shiny, but it looks like I might have put some acrylic over it. Just kind of a hot mess watercolor experimentation. Some more abstracts with some gold paint. These are fun. Not sure what I painted these with. Feels like watercolor. This looks like one of my more opaque watercolor sets. This is fun. I like that. Just some figures. This is a fun little colorful landscape too. More daffodils. Love this. Just sort of exploring the shapes the watercolor was making. Same here, just allowing a landscape to evolve out of putting some watercolor down. This was a figure that I found on Pinterest. Just some abstract play. This is so fun to do this kind of mark making. Sort of abstracted landscapes. This was in my Art Nest, I'm pretty sure. Just really allowing myself to play. Some figures where I didn't do a drawing. I just take the brush and do the drawing right with the brush. It's a really great way to stay loose. This was some plein air of those raspberry canes. This was the Pussy Willows. I had my art toolkit with me. These were the baby pines. I have a video on all of this on Patreon. Yeah, all of this was Patreon stuff. I really like this one. And then the rest of this book is color swatching, I believe. And there are two, I actually mentioned this in my Patreon videos, but I don't believe I have mentioned it yet in my YouTube videos. There are now 3 coupon codes that are below every video going forward. I think I put them under the last few videos I did, but there is, I have had for a long time a coupon code for Art Toolkit products. So be sure to use that if you order an Art Toolkit palette or any of their items on their website. This one I have a bunch of pans that I need to put in. I'm going to make another watercolor kit out of this one. So Art Toolkit has a coupon code under my videos each week. And then the two newer ones are Senex Gouache. Senex Gouache has given me a coupon code for my customers. You guys know how much I love this gouache. I'm not paid by this company to say things about them in the video, although I am an affiliate of theirs. So when you use the link for either Art Toolkit or Senex Gouache, I make a very small amount of money, but it does not cost you anymore. So it's a great way that you can support my channel and get a discount on your art supplies. So Senex Gouache, Art Toolkit, and the most recent one that I've added is Meeden products. So Meeden has all kinds of things from paints to palettes to studio furniture. And I now have a coupon code below my videos where you can get a discount for Meeden products. So that is some good news for you guys. Everybody loves to get a discount on art supplies. So I hope you enjoyed these sketchbook tours. I hope I found a balance between talking too much and not talking enough. But yeah, it's hard to go through the sketchbooks without reminiscing a little bit about what you were doing in each one. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a great creative week, and God bless you. Mwah. Bye-bye.